And so anything that divides us, they're going to promote no matter what. Whether it's the virus or protests, they're going to let that happen. And that's what you're seeing with the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. It's divide and rule by on racial grounds. And what we need to do is to put down the fault lines. They're ludicrous fault lines, for goodness sake. It's only a brief experience. What you are is consciousness. You are a point of attention, a unique point of attention. Celebrate that uniqueness for a start. You are a unique point of attention within an infinite flow of infinite consciousness, having a brief, stunningly transitory experience as a human. And what is a human? It is a particular way of processing and decoding information. That's all human is. The human form processes and decodes information in a certain way that we call human. So when near-death experiences leave the body and leave that processing, decoding system that I call the biological computer, their reality dramatically changes. And of course, millions of near-death experiences have described how reality transforms. And many say suddenly past, present, and future are all happening in the same now and all that. Because you've left the processing system, the computer system, if you like, which processes information in a certain way that we call human. But you are not the human, that is your experience. You are the consciousness, eternal, infinite consciousness that is having that experience. And when we come from that level of self-identity, we see ourselves in an expanded form, in an infinite form. But when we self-identify only with being human, human is the I, then I self-identify with limitation, we self-identify with I can't, we self-identify with little me. And what the cult has been doing is, because they've had fault lines through what we call history, fault lines of culture, fault lines of religion, fault lines of race, which they've been able to play off against each other. But they've really upped the ante now, because in what we call identity politics, which is a creation of the cult, the whole woke mentality is a creation of the cult through the schools and universities for several generations, they're now subdividing the human from not just men and women, but into a long list of letters, which seems to get longer by the week, where people are self-identifying with the minutiae of their themselves. I am are. And instead of just being a man or a woman or black or white or whatever, suddenly they have to self-identify right down to fine detail. And what this has done has created more and more self-identities to allow more and more divide and rule. Now we have, feminists at war with transgender activists and stuff like that. And if you are wishing to subjugate a massive number of people, and you are a few, and at the core this cult is tiny, then you have to divide and rule the target population. You have to get the target population, here we go, current events, to police itself. People laugh at sheep following the shepherd and then running away from the sheepdog, symbolic of fear. But humanity's become so manipulated that it's dispensed with the sheepdog. It's got a kind of shepherd, which is the authorities saying, you're going to do this, you're going to wear masks. But it's the sheep that police the sheep, not the sheepdog. It's not the authorities shouting at people in the supermarket aisle because they've not got a mask on. It's other members of the population that's being targeted. So dividing and ruling is absolutely vital. And I mean, what divides people more than a mask? You lose, like I say, you lose your individuality. But also look at what this fake pandemic has allowed them to do. At a time when they're introducing more and more fascistic impositions, they are massively limiting the number of people that can gather. So it becomes very much more challenging to get a momentum going to oppose what's going on, which is why we have to bring it back. Well, I say, which is why people can just go and do it. I mean, if Black Lives Matter protests can do it just because it suits the cult, then other people can do it for other reasons. It's just a choice. Just like the people on the beaches. But if it doesn't go that way, then it comes down to the individual. A series of individual choices, which becomes the massive collective choices, to say no to the deletion of their freedoms and the imposition of fascism upon them. And either way, the few can't control the many unless the many cooperate. And this is what we're seeing, and it has to stop. Otherwise, this is going to make Orwell shake his head and say, I understated it, the way they want to go with this.